Green Bay is the western arm of Lake Michigan, and looking at a map, it just looks like a little finger, but it's giant, and it produces these beautiful golden walleyes. And it's quite possibly the premier big walleye fishery in the US. 7, 8, 9, 10, even 11-pound walleyes are caught routinely on Green Bay. For this event, anglers are launching out of Oconto, which is considered mid-south section of the lake. From there, you'll have guys going in all kinds of directions. You can run south towards the city of Green Bay and fish the mud. You can stay close to Oconto, go a little bit south and fish Gano's Reef. Or you can head a little bit north and fish Chambers Island. You can also ride that western shoreline and fish the Cedar River area. And there will be some guys making a brutal 90 to 95 mile run all the way north to Big Bay.
Where are we going?
Starting route. Proceed to Highway Y.
We're going
then
north.
Turn right.
Long ways. Yeah. Get ready to relax because we're going on a long drive.
Probably stop and get some gas.
Yeah, it's gonna be a multiple fuel up day.
If a guy knows that run,
Oh yeah.
huh? Boy, that wind kicked up here, just like in a matter of miles.
Yeah.
Watching a flag now.
I'm gonna get out and get some gas, but I'll see you when I get up there.
All right, sounds good. See ya.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Dewey's convinced that the winning bite is gonna happen up in Big Bay, where there's no doubt big fish, but if you go that far, if you run 90 plus miles, you're essentially cutting your fishing time in half.
Turn right. Then arrive at your destination.
So if you're like me and you're from Minnesota, you hear someone's fishing on a bay. It doesn't matter what bay it is, and you're picturing a small area on a portion of the lake, but Green Bay is anything but. It's bigger than anything we got around here. It's literally hundreds of miles of water that are in game for these guys to try to break down.
It's gonna take you 2.5 hours plus to get up there by boat.
Why did we just drive 2 hours?
What?
Why did we just drive 2 hours?
I'll hopefully find a walleye. Wow, we just want to know if there is a walleye on Green Bay actually. It's been pretty tough. I got here last Friday and we made a little tally sheet, and since then I've caught 5 walleyes in whatever that is, almost 4.5 days now, so not good.
Well, you see, there's 11 fun months out of the year to fish Green Bay. June does not fall on that.
Although the population is strong, mid-June is the worst possible time to fish Green Bay, mainly because of the alewife spawn. And if you don't know what an alewife is, it's a herring-looking big bait fish.
Very, very high protein. It's a very common bait fish in Lake Michigan, but normally in the summer times, it's not the main forage of a walleye because they're out in 100 feet of water, the really deep water. They want to be in cooler water, right? Well, when that water hits that magical 60s degrees in June, the alewives come from the deep water in shallow to spawn, and it is a literal invasion.
So you get this just absolute wave of food that comes into the bay.
And it just makes things really tough. And if we were here in a week or 2 weeks, it'd probably be unbelievable.
There's so many of them that are dying after the spawn from all the stress that they just float on top of the water, and the walleyes can just swim around and kind of have an all-you-can-eat buffet whenever they want. In addition to that,
there's perch in shallow, there's drum spawning right now, there's white perch, there's gobies, there's alewives, bug catches as well. They don't have to eat a jig and a crawler, a jig and wrap, or whatever you want to throw at them. Like, they don't have to eat.
3 of you? Yeah, let's go!
And you also have transitioning fish. They've been post-spawn, they're moving out to deeper water, starting to make that summer migration. So they're on the move too, and you combine all of these things, and it is a brutal bite. But the thing is, there's still fish everywhere. You're constantly seeing marks, and you might cast at 20, 30, 40 fish before you get one that actually even engages on your bait. And that doesn't even mean he's gonna bite. Just to get him engaged and actually see that there's a chance, and to learn like, oh, he liked that and he moved up on it, or he wanted to chase it down. And then you gotta just use those little snippets and roll them into the next big mark that you're seeing and throwing at, and make those adjustments to see what you can do to fool a fish that has no business eating your bait when there's just an endless supply of live stuff floating around.
Max warned me that this was gonna happen. That this kind of bite was gonna be like this. I believed him, but I just, cause I've never been here, so like I just didn't realize it was gonna be like this. Last couple days have been pretty, I don't even know what to call them. Non-eventful. Yesterday was finally we kind of figured a little something out. Other than that, it's been a little bit boring, I guess you could say. My game plan right now, I'm just cruising along. Kind of figured out these fish are kind of relating to weeds. They're not going to be in the weeds, but they're going to be near them or just off of them.
it's not going well for Owen. Those are my thoughts. Owen's going through a classic sophomore slump where he experienced great success, but now the realities of new bodies of water and new styles of fishing are coming in, and the more you learn, the more you realize I have that much more to learn.
Fish. See it? I'm not gonna grab it. It's a big one. Yeah, probably. 8? I don't know, it might be 8. Too many people. Just play it nonchalantly. Get off. Get off. Get off. Get off. Alright. We're just gonna pretend like nothing happened. Did you ever see him look at me? You never saw him look? That's all I needed. Just needed a little bit more confidence.
We're gonna need a jig and a crawler. And the J-wrap. Good fight.
2 years ago, Dewey won in a similar tough bite scenario, although then the bite was starting to improve as we were moving away from the bait fish spawns.
I know the right fish are here to win this thing. Holy cow.
Dewey was one of the first to capitalize on that big run going north, and he came away victorious in a tough bite situation.
24. Man, I would probably keep it. He's mad. Oh yeah, we got a mess now. Dangerous situation. Fatty. First walleye of the day. It deserves a waypoint. 5.5. I would keep that one. I just hope I get 5 or 3 a day. Man, I looked for it this week so hard, and I thought, you know, with this warmer weather and stuff that we had coming into this tournament, that things would be farther along. But I just never found that same bite that we had that year.
All right, I guess we'll try it for a little while longer.
What were you thinking?
Serious about heading back. I just don't think it's just ain't happening.
Then I'm gonna go back here. Catch some more fish than I have all day. We'll see you around.
Yep, see ya. Should we name a time? John and I ran up here years ago to try to get something going like this. We're seeing them today, and we're seeing the right size. They're just not wanting to bite. Just kind of like the bay's been all week.
Knowing their strengths, Dusty's smart enough to realize John and Dewey are not gonna troll in this tournament.
That wind is so fun. It's like Lake Erie.
And we're struggling as a team. So it's sort of his job to go out and investigate, is there a trolling bite, and can I make this work and sort of save the squad?
Like our time would be better spent driving back. Because we can't run around and check stuff, you know what I mean? Pick that thing up, Paul. Let's get out of here. We're out of here!
Okay. Every time I think I've been in the worst waves of my life, I go fishing with you again.
Yeah. I know. It sucks. Hey. Only 3 dumb ones left in the parking lot. We weren't smart enough to put our rain gear on.
Well, we were after we were wet.
Yeah.
Like, should we stop and do this?
I know. Yeah, I don't know when the last time I was that wet from a boat ride. I think a whitewater rafter gets less wet.
Like everybody else, Dusty shows up for this event thinking it's gonna be brutal, thinking it's gonna be tough. Surprisingly, he has a very productive first day of practice.
Dude, the first day that I got here, we caught like 7 or 8. Ever since then, it's kind of... How's it going, ladies?
Catching up on the tally sheet. We've had 2 walleyes. I think we would have had about 19 pounds, 18 pounds for 2 though.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
As practice progresses, the bite's getting worse and worse, and Dusty's wondering, what did I do right on the first day?
You're probably gonna pull a Dwayne helm tonight and just not cover the boat, let it breathe.
It actually got so bad among the team that Dusty and John and Dewey actually kept a tally of how many total fish they had caught, which is not a good sign.
Successfully captured walleye number 9 and number 10 of practice today.
You want to mark me up for 1?
Dewey 1. That brings you to a total of 11.
Whoa!
So we got a battle, and Dusty did not capture.
Not today, no.
Okay. Black and smart.
When you're talking about a system of Green Bay size, it is so crucial to have a team of people who you can break down that water with.
Just hope for more bites. Like Dewey said, I've had my most bites close.
At much more efficient. Split up, spread apart, each take a section, each try something different. Circling back at the end of the day, finding out who had the most success, and then building on those patterns and expanding from there.
I'll cover Big Bay this today. You can go cover Door County. I'll go look at the mud tomorrow morning.
Yo. I just thought about it. It's like, if I find something up the West Shore.
Just to get eyes on all parts of the lake. You can't do that yourself. It's too big.
So instead, I'm gonna go look at like Peshtigo Point and the river mouth there.
When a bite is just downright filthy tough, one of the hardest things is just staying in it mentally. Even pre-fishing, how do you find the motivation to set an alarm clock for 4 in the morning and go out when the day before you maybe didn't catch a fish, and you gotta do it again today, and the next day, and the next day?
Max has a ton of history on Green Bay. He guides a lot out here, spends a lot of time. It's essentially his home body of water. Like Dewey, Max is also convinced the best bite, the winning bite, is up north.
You realize we're 96 miles from takeoff right now? I love that. I love that for us.
I don't have any expectations today. We've caught a total of 10 walleyes in 6 days of practice. Some people are saying they've caught 1, 2, whatever. I don't know if that's the truth or not, but I 100% believe that you could catch 1 walleye in 5 days out here. It is almost impossible to catch a walleye right now. There you go, try that, might work. Try one of these, might work. Remind you of home, Aaron?
Yeah.
Does it remind you of home? Aaron's from Florida. He's a Green Bay practice expert. He's been with me for pretty much every Green Bay tournament since 2019. And his expectations are very low, which is nice. If he catches a walleye in 7 days of practice, he's happy. Bring him up, 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 up. Higher, frickin' giant. Yes, dude. Wow, wow, wow. Don't worry, there's no chance of getting hooked. Oh my gosh, Aaron, buddy. Toad. That's why you want to see him in the gills. That is a freaking giant.
John encourages his travel partner, Aaron, hey, throw this lipless out. This is the one thing that we haven't really tried yet. And sure enough, Aaron catches a 10-pounder.
Yep, that escalated quickly. What did I tell you? Told you, rattle bait. What did I say? You told me. And all of a sudden I feel like my little hair jig is not the right lure to be throwing. I mean, he caught that first fish. It was like a 30-incher. And it was kind of a light bulb that went off for me. And I'm like, huh, we haven't done this at all. We caught one.
No! I needed you! I swear that was a walleye, folks. It was a wallamajai that was like 19 inches. That was the weirdest bite in the world. Like, I couldn't tell if he was there or not. You can edit in, like, here. Okay, now, Logan, edit in like a 12-pounder. There, perfect. Got him. Got him! This is a North American Wallamajai. This is the fun part. This is one of the rarest things on Green Bay right now. A walleye. Only had to go 96 miles from the boat ramp to catch one, but not what we're looking for, but hey, caught a walleye. But that's the thing with like Green Bay fish or like the Sioux last year. It's funny how a fish's forage changes how it eats. Like, you know, when we were in South Dakota, like we had multiple tournaments last year where we were throwing a jig wrap, right? South Dakota last year, devils, stuff like that, they're shad eaters. So those fish eat feeding up, right? And a lot of times they eat on the drop initially or pretty quick because they have to react to that bait right away. Where these fish out here are primarily goby eaters. That's their main forage most of the time. Like they still have the Alewife or whatever, they have that special month. But it's funny with fish here, like that fish, I contacted them, activated them, and it took me 30 seconds, if not more, of snapping and getting that fish to follow. And if you watch them on live scope, they're literally down there doing this, darting after it. And it's because gobies, they scurry on bottom. So the walleyes are used to chasing their bait around and like kind of cornering it and then pin it. That's where a lot of times you get fish that are hooked underneath the chin, because I'll physically watch them on live scope. They go down and try and pin that bait to the bottom to stun it and then eat it. So it's just a lot of people kind of like I've noticed on Green Bay over the years, when they're jigging, they'll see a fish go down and then they reel up right away because they're like, oh, he didn't eat it, you know, because they're used to other fisheries. Where a lot of times, dude, I've had fish where I don't even look at live scope once a fish goes down. I just focus on the cadence, and I'll work it all the way back to the boat, and I'll have a fish activate at 60 feet out and it'll eat boat side. That one smoked it. I love you. This is a giant, dude. Woo! Woo! Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. That's a giant. That one did not eat it off bottom like I said before. Blue chrome to the dome. Get in the boat, okay? That is what we like. Look at that. Look at that. You so pretty. 7 Younda, baby. Tastes like money. All right. Okay, you stay right here. I'll be back. Blue chrome jig and wrap. You'll hear the music. Don't eat other ones. Don't cheat on me. Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart, you know. And we've always talked about making long runs, and you know, because every tournament there's always the run. Doesn't matter where you are, someone's going super far away, and it's always the mythical, magical place, you know. And I've always been able to kind of debunk that. Like I'm pretty decent at finding fish close to the ramp because I prefer to have more time in the water than running time, you know. But this one was different, obviously, and you know, I was thinking about it and we were talking about it, and at some point you just have to nut up and do it. Oh my God, dude, that is, oh, yep. No way, dude. I just got a 32. What? Where's my scale? Where is it?
You can see as the year sort of goes on, there was a struggle at first. You can see Max is sort of loosening up, finding his mojo, getting his confidence, and rediscovering the joy of tournament fishing.
It's crazy to think there's gonna be 40 guys that probably make the run. 40 guys that run over 100 miles. Last official cast of National Walleye Tour practice.
It kind of seems like you've, like, you're back in the game. Like, you seem more energized.
I'm back, and that's scary. And I'm gonna hurt some feelings this year. Like, that, it's like that meme, like, y'all had me in the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
It's like that other one. 500. Holy cow. No, is it just to make sure you were awake, Logan? It's called buzzing the tower. Wow, look at that giant walleye up in 2 feet of water. My gosh. Maybe he has it completely choked.
The last day of practice, John figures out that there's a viable lipless crankbait pattern in semi-shallow water around like 10-foot break lines, and it's working not just in one spot, but he can duplicate it in multiple spots.
Sorry, that's all you get for a look. That thing is a sled. That is very exciting. Ties right into what was my primary area.
It went from pretty much impossible to catch 3, or it's going to be the most challenging thing ever, to I have a very good opportunity of winning this tournament. This will be the easiest tournament of all time to win, but also the hardest tournament.
Down where the baffles aren't.
Oh.
Oh, it's down there. Oh, it's even got a notch? Okay, you're on it. Usually I have it at an angle, but there you go, let's try that. When you see that bubble start creeping back up, that's when we want to slow down.
Thanks, Paul. We'll keep it under 90 this time.
Back to the 90s, Max.
Paul's legit, because I used to be the same guy with
Whoa,
this.
Country Katie
Dude,
mix.
he was rocking Nickelback.
Country Katie mix. Let's see what's on that.
Let's talk about our perceived mood at the meeting. I think we all need to
Act like me.
act like Dewey. Okay?
Well, did you like I didn't wear my scare egg? Like, I'm really bummed.
Well, we are bummed. 100% bummed. And I just, whatever.
See ya. Hey, Ben. How you been?
Thank y'all so much for coming here to Oconto, Wisconsin, here on Green Bay.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, nice clean slate, the last 2.
It's been a while.
I think the hardest thing is if you're going to throw back the 6s and 7s.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not that. Sometimes it looks like it's going to be.
I was joking. It's close to impossible. Good luck, guys. I hope you all bring back 3 walleyes.
We've been catching a few. It hasn't been great, obviously, but I'm going to stay south and we'll be around a lot of fish. It's just a matter of getting a few of them to bite.
It's like 3 casts.
Exactly.
You can be done. And you troll through them. I think you can get 1 trolling, and you might be able to get all 3 trolling.
If it was windy, yeah, different story.
Man, the night before the tournament, those guys are lucky if they get even a few hours of sleep. Even if you're prepared, you got everything rigged and dialed, the mental game of running through your head where you're gonna start. Am I gonna make that 90 or 100 mile run to get to some fish? Should I stay close and have an extra 4 hours, 5 hours of fishing time?
If you're choosing to make the mega run to Big Bay, not only are you going to battle mileage and waves and wind, but you also have to stop and get gas, otherwise you're not going to make it. And that gas stop alone is a variable. Well, maybe somebody else is fueling up ahead of me and then I'm wasting even more time. All this has to come into play when you decide, am I going or am I staying?
You probably won't have time to hit any of the stuff you found closer besides, a last minute hero attempt right before the buzzer.
Besides last day discovery by John, morale is not high. Nobody really feels like, hey, I've found something and I've found something that I can duplicate multiple days. There's this uneasy feeling of, man, I know it's gonna be tough and I know I need to weigh some fish to get those points for championship.